and you will even reap it in greater proportion. And let me let you know that no man has power over the harvest. What you have power over is the seed. So once the seed is being committed to the earth, you can't be sure of the harvest that is going to follow. So when we talk about buying the future, the story of Esau and Jacob will come to mind. I came by a book a few years ago written by the great man of God, Mensa Otabil, and we give credit to him for the topic of this conference, Buy the Future. The title of the book is Buy the Future. When you look through, you understand the story of Jacob and Esau even from another dimension. When you look at the story, Esau was the firstborn. Jacob came after him. But Jacob had been pursuing him from the womb. And a time came, he's been looking for that opportunity to catch on with his brother. And the Bible said that Esau returned one day from hunting. He was famished. He met his brother, had finished preparing a meal. He asked from his brother, "Can I take the meal?" And the brother said to him, "Sell me your birthright. Give me your birthright, you can have a plate of food." Esau said to himself, "Of what importance is birthright? If I will die now, if hunger will kill me now." Then he said to him, "Come to think of it, a plate of food is something you can see. Birthright, you cannot see. The same way, the present is what you can see. The future, you cannot see." And he said to his brother, "All right, take the birthright, and I will have the plate of food." But a time came when the father was about to die, and he was to release blessing. Everything worked against Esau from getting the blessing, because he who owns the birthright owns the blessings. As a starter, to whet your appetite for today, I'd like you to note these points. Number one is that your future is a picture of your desired destination in life. So if you don't have one already, it's good you create it by yourself. Begin with the power of vision. Begin with the power of imagination. Esau thought everything ends after the plate of meal. He forgot that a plate of meal will only satisfy the present, but there is something that will take care of the future, and that is the birthright. God himself wants a great future for us. He said in his word that I have the plan I have towards you, the thought I have towards you, they are thought of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. And I remember, it dawned on me about last year that since I was in the college, we've been hearing about the Vision 2020. Vision 2020. Interestingly, the 2020 is here. Anyone who thought he had a vision years ago about 2020 and has not started working on it, has not started actualizing it, will suddenly find himself or herself in this year 2020. So whenever you are to view life, view it with the end in mind. You view it with the end in mind. Because nobody puts his head on Delilah's laps and wake up in Abraham's bosom. Delilah's laps is not a shortcut to Abraham's bosom. Number two, if you desire a particular kind of future, ask for the price. Today we'll be looking at the cost and effect of buying the future. If you desire a particular future, ask for the price. Because everything good, everything great comes with a price tag. A number of times people want a future, but they don't want to look at the price that is attached to it. Whatever pays, costs. Whatever costs, pays. When something qualifies for a particular price tag, if anyone wants to offer it to you without that price, reject it. It's a fake one. Whatever costs blood to get, if somebody wants to give it to you without sweat, it's not the original. Because you remember that when Jesus was preparing for his ministry, the devil came to him and he said, just bow down. What you want to die for, I will dash you. Jesus said, no. You dash me now, it's not going to be the original. So you must ask for the price. Because in life, it's either you eat now and pay later, or you pay now and you eat later. Everything that is good comes with a cost. And this conference is put together so that one of the things that will be ingrained in the heart of every listener is the principle of delayed gratification. That was what Esau lacked. He lacked the principle, of delayed gratification. I hear nowadays people say things like, I want to blow up. I want to blow up. Hear this. Blowing up cannot take you to where you are going. Because there are two ways to increment. It's either you grow up or you blow up. That's the difference between a balloon and somebody who grew. Yeah. It doesn't matter what can happen, God forbid. Even if I grow slimmer, I can't grow shorter. Because I grew to this height. There are frame structures within my bones to bring me to this height. But of course, if you talk about the other growth, the horizontal growth, it came out of what you are eating, some of these indulgence, excesses here and there, and can be cut down at one point or the other. Those who don't grow up and blow up, they come down the same way, they increase. The same way they went up, the same way, they will come down. Number 3, which I want you to note, don't only ask for the price for the future. Be prepared to pay the price. You don't only ask for the price, you are prepared to pay the price. A future you don't painstake on, you can't partake of. What you don't painstake on, you can't partake of. One of my key words, guiding principle over years, is that if your vision does not afflict you, it cannot affect others. Many persons will want to hold a vision and believe that it will affect the whole world. What price have you paid on that vision of yours? What has it taken away from you? Somebody who's just a student and would refuse to attend the classes, will refuse to do the study, you will refuse, as they say, to burn the night candles, cannot expect excellence. Because what you don't painstake on, you cannot partake of. So you need to know not only what the prices are, you need to be ready to pay those prices. So buying your future starts with a thirst. There must be a thirst. That's one of the costs. We will be hearing from other great men and women of repute that will be speaking to us today. But in my own, perspective, it takes a thirst. What are you thirsty for? I discovered that life is not about what you drive alone. It's about what drives you. You can't drive something good, and something bad might be driving you. It can drive such a person to the cell or drive the person to the prison. It is not only about, a thirst. There must be a rugged determination. It is that determination that separates men from boys. Because if you want to go far, certainly there will be obstacles. One of my quotes says that if you have not been facing giant challenges, it is because you are not taking giant strides. You can't take giant strides and you will not face giant challenges. But the bigger the test, the bigger the testimony that is going to follow thereafter. Then you need to engage your creative ability. Engage your creative ability. That's another price that needs to be paid. Always raise the bar for yourself. That's another price. Don't be satisfied with the status quo. Our father in the Lord, Pastor Abioye said, the good enough is the enemy of becoming great and being the best.
Yes, sir.
I love that word.
Yes, sir.
When you say, I am good enough, when you say it's just all right like this, you can't be great. It will be difficult for such a person to be great. Appreciate your small beginning, but desire to grow big. Have what you call a global mentality. Start locally, but think globally. So that you can reach out, to your world. I have just 5 of them. Number 4, you must be ready to mitigate against the enemies of your preferred future. Whatever wants to stop you from your preferred future, you must be ready to stop it. You must be ready to put an end to it. If life is a warfare, then get ready to fight. Because it will give unto you what you demand, not just what you desire. You had it said that if wishes were horses, that even beggars, will ride. And this is why there is a need for mind shift. We are calling today for a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift from the way individuals handle things, handle lives. A paradigm shift from the way communities handle, their community. A paradigm shift in the way nations, they handle their national issues. That it is not possible to project the wrong values and you want to see something positive. It is not possible. I made a comment a few days ago condemning the issue of, rape that is going all across. And I made an appeal even to the leaders. Let's begin to encourage better values. Even on our TV sets, the programs that we watch, let's begin to encourage better values. The values of integrity, the values, of modesty, equity, fairness, exceptional behaviors. Because the future must be modeled, not only should it be spoken about. Because people learn better by what they see than what they just hear. You can imagine someone who came topmost in an institution with about 4.9 or 5-point GP. And such a person will be rewarded with 100,000 naira. While someone who will be on the TV smokes and he, do things that are not good for children, upcoming people to copy. Such a person will land in an endorsement of $1 billion or $1 million. You tweak, the mentality of the upcoming people to think when we promote when something wrong is being acceptable, then that becomes the norm. And that's why the caption of the Mindshift says, away from the norm. We need to take the mind away from the norm. And the 5th thing is that you must understand that there is the God factor. If anyone says that there is no God, COVID-19 should be a good experience. Experience in the sense that who would have said by the beginning of this year that a time will come when the whole world will be on compulsory holiday. And everyone, one nation after the other were on compulsory holiday. So there is that God factor. Nebuchadnezzar said that when my understanding returned to me, I praise the Most High that rules in the affairs of men. So there is a God that rules in the affairs of men. If you learn the principle of buying the future and you stay put to everything you learned today, because those who are going to speak to us today, they have proven testimonies. And you hook on unto God, you can be very, very sure that your tomorrow is already settled. I believe that you are ready for a great time today on Mindshift 2020.
Hallelujah.
Thank you very much.
Glory be to God. What a mind-blowing way of opening the Mindshift 2020 conference of the YP3 of RCCG. God bless you, Pastor Olaoluwa Abioye. In fact, going through the comments now that have been coming in, please keep those comments on. To join the conversation is hashtag by the future or hashtag Mindshift 2020. Just keep the conversation on. And of course, you have said so many things, so many things as concerning buying the future. You have said so many things, delay gratification and all that. Now, what can you say more on the issue of our young ones engaging in this quick, get-rich-quick syndrome? The schemes that are all over the world now, getting money. Some call it Yahoo Yahoo, and we have many of them like that, Yahoo Plus and so on. What are they doing? Are they buying their future or they are buying their presence?
Thank you, sir. If you don't have values, you don't have value. The greatest challenge that I have seen is promotion of wrong values. Years ago, whenever many of us were about to leave home, probably for our educational pursuit, the parents always sing a song to your ears.
Yeah.
Remember the son of whom you are. You are a lady, remember the daughter of whom you are. Why? Because the belief that good name is better than gold, better than riches. Many of these values are not being promoted anymore. And when these people have that urge, you can imagine somebody who is just 14-year-old or 17 or about 20 already looking for a quick way to be rich. What does he understand by riches? Because no wonder that when you look at their lives and their lifestyle, they get so flamboyant, they spend so lavishly. A number of times before long, the money will be nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Then they return back, to zero level. Or they spend it on drugs, on, riotous living and moving around. It is because the homes are also lacking values. So we must promote good values.
Even from the home.
Even from the home. The homes have a role to play. Yeah. Institutions have a role to play.
Okay.
And every other one, all right, around.
Thank you so much, sir. But then quickly, before we go on the next break, buy the future. To buy a commodity, you must have a price. You must have a value to exchange for the commodity. What is the value we need to exchange to buying our future? What is the currency now, if I may put?
Thank you, sir. I did mention some of them in my short address.
Okay.
Thirst.
Good.
Your desire. That's one of them.
Okay.
Then you must be ready to painstake. You must be ready to painstake. I was on this topic some time ago, and it dawned on me the way the Spirit of God expressed it to me. He used the example of two women in the labor room.
Okay.
One will have a normal delivery. The other one will deliver through CS.
Okay.
The one with normal delivery will have her pains.
Yes.
Before the baby comes. And when the baby comes, after a short while, the pains are gone. If it is with CS, there might not be pains before delivery. But after delivery, then there will be some, don't do this, mind this, and all that, because, there will be the suture, line and all that. So which made me to say earlier that they either eat now and pay later, or they either pay now, and eat later.
God bless you so much, sir. Okay, our next guest on the program is Tony Cole, the CEO of Sahara Desert. I mean, Sahara Energy, rather. Okay, please, what do you have to say about him?
Mr. Tony Cole is someone whose life and testimonies has encouraged many.
Okay.
And is someone who also, he can trace his story of bringing something from the small level and taking it to greater heights. So I believe that what he has to pass across today, as God has helped him to succeed in his own field, and also one common denominator to all our speakers today, they are not only successful in their fields, they are also God's children.
Okay.
God's children, God's servant, who are, who started from the scratch.
Yeah.
And God has raised them, to a particular level. So whichever one of them comes up, I know that they have something great to deliver, and your lives will not remain the same.
Amen. All right. Tony Cole will be speaking to us on Impact Your World, stepping into leadership in crisis period. What are the expectations? What should we expect from that topic, from him?
Yeah, we want him to speak to us, being a leader of conglomerate of organizations.
Yeah.
We want him to impact on the listeners what it takes, to actually function well in the leadership aspect, in the area of the economy.
Okay.
Because when you look at the 7 mountains economy, the mountain of economy is one of the outstanding mountains.
Okay. Let's now go back a little to the issue of buying the future you powerfully spoke about. Now, buying the future, what should we be doing at the moment? The future we are talking about, when is the future? Since back in the days, probably in the days of primary school, even nursery school, we were told we are the leaders of tomorrow. When is that tomorrow coming?
Tomorrow starts today.
Okay.
If you don't see yourself as being a leader today, it will be difficult for you to engage in that tomorrow. It's just sounding futuristic.
Okay.
For example, even if we are not leaders of our own organizations, we are fathers. That is fair.
Okay.
In the 7 mountains of influence, the mountain of family.
The family.
So you are a father. And your children will be looking at what you do, even more than what you say.
Okay.
If they see that you have a relationship with God, they build their relationship with God. If they see that you have the value for hard work, they know that hard work pays. So the future is a word that we have to bring to today.
Okay.
We don't wait till the future before we begin to lead in the future. I give you an example.
Okay.
David in the Bible was at the backside of the desert, when he was tending his father's sheep.
Yeah.
The Bible says that there were times he had a confrontation against the lion and against the bear. If you look at the family tree, David was about the last born. He had brothers that were almost twice his age. So if David was about 17, he must have a brother that are in their 30s.
Yeah.
While he was at the backside, because we never heard that when he was fighting with lion or fighting with bear, anybody came around to help him. So it was sure that he was the only one there. So it must have been that he was minding the father's business, but while all his big brothers were probably wasting away. But there were 3 things I saw outstanding in his life.
Okay.
Whenever he's lonely, he takes his harp. He sings melody unto God. Nobody was there, because whatever you will do in the open, the training starts in the secret. He was playing melody unto God. And while he was doing that, anything that tries to take seize out of his flock, he will arise and fight them. That was how he fought a lion and he fought a bear. And we also knew that he uses, the catapult. He used the catapult, to attack them. And he learned being a shepherd when probably nobody was paying him for that. But do you know, sir, that those were the three things that made him outstanding? Wow. When Saul was suffering from royal madness in the palace, he said, get me a skillful player. Yeah. And they had to look for David, who had been learning how to play right where he was, and nobody was giving him the credit for it.
Okay. Thank you so much for your responses. Of course, while we wait for Tony Cole to be connected with him via Zoom to communicate or to lecture us more on this subject by the future, I want to quickly appreciate all the members of organizing committees of this conference, starting from Pastor Damilola Mark Ali and Ogunbodede Samuel Bumi. We really appreciate you and all the members of the teams, especially all our zonal pastors in YP3 of RCCG. We salute you and we say God bless you greatly. So please, you can start coming up with your questions if you have any. Just join the conversation. Hashtag by the future. Hashtag Mindshift 2020. Send your questions to us and we'll take it up from there. Okay. While waiting then, so let's quickly look at some of the questions that have been coming in. Now, what advice can you give now to someone who is finding it difficult to stand even at the presence? You are finding things difficult right now at the presence, aiming at the future. How do you skate through the dirty waters at the present, get into the future?
Thank you. I would want such person to know that painstaking is part of growth process.
Okay.
When you see it as part of growth process, you see it as something that you have to do, and that if you do, it brings you the desired result that you wanted.
Okay.
Look at all the protocols we have to follow because of COVID-19. Washing of your hands and sanitizing and all that. Even anyone who would ordinarily not want to sanitize their hands, when you know that it has something to do with your existence, you want to do it. So such people should know that it has something to do with their getting to their future.
Okay. Finally, do you have any, reaction to probably cap up with your thoughts over the buying the future? Anything from your angle, sir?
Just to encourage our listeners that they should get their pen and papers ready, because we are moving on and we are cruising on top speed.